Hi, advertising addicts. This is Jody, and I have this actually, I have two pieces of this amazing advertising from Northwestern Hide and Fur Company. This is a company out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and this is the cover. You can't quite see the date here. It's 1900 something, and I believe this one was from 1909. I have one from 1906 as well to show you. Not the cover, but the newsletter that's inside. So there's a close-up on the stamps. It's 2-cent stamps there. And this letter went to Glencoe, Minnesota, which is about an hour from Minneapolis, I would say, to Alvin Newbarth, who was my great-grandfather. Actually, this could have been my great-great-grandfather. There were 3 generations of Alvin Newbarths. So, and they all lived in Glencoe, so I'm not sure. I know it's not my grandpa. He wasn't born yet. So it could be my great or great-great-grandfather. Either way, this was some of their junk mail that they held on to, because they held on to stuff. And on the back here, we've got some pictures of some of the animals that you might trap. Wool growers and trappers supplies. We give more valuable information on wild animals and domestic animals than any other firm in the world, and pay best prices for their hides and skins. It's a horse, and a cow there, and a bear, and a skunk. And let's see what was on the inside of this one. It looks like some kind of cat. So basically this company was for, they sold traps and things, but they also purchased hides and furs from people who wanted to make some extra money trapping. And also ginseng and Seneca roots, wool growers and trappers. They bought a lot of things and then resold them, for other purposes. And it's quite the fancy envelope here. And my great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather both did some trapping on the side. Mostly they were tailors. And they had a dry cleaning and tailor shop in Glencoe and Hastings, Minnesota, but they did lots of other things on the side to make extra money, as people did then and they do now. There's actually 2 different papers in here. You have your newsletter, and then this is an extra little insert advertising their catalog. So I'll put that here so you can read it if you want. And if anything moves too fast, just pause the video. And then here is photograph engraving of the valuable fur skins of North America, stretched in proper shape. So these are not only to sell you trapping supplies and whatnot, and to buy the skins from you, but they're also trying to educate you on the proper way to do things, because of course they'll probably pay more if things are proper. And this is from the 1906 16-page gun and trap catalog. So I'll kind of go over this slowly. This is genuine new house traps. And when we were cleaning out my grandfather's house, we also found several of these traps too, which was Interesting. So on this side, stop thief traps with chains. Stop thief traps without chains. Tree traps. A trap wrench. And then you have trap clamps. And this is a universal fur stretcher. Which they have a patent on. Alright, let's take a look at the newsletter now. This newsletter is from December 21st, 1909. It says they were established in 1890. And at this time, Minnesota and that area was referred to as the Northwest. I found lots of paperwork and stuff in my grandfather's things where everything was considered, they were considered the Northwest. There probably, at this time, you know, there just wasn't enough industry and just population in what's now considered the Northwest, which I'm in, which is, you know, the Oregon, Washington, Idaho area, and, you know, before that even became part of the statehood, this area was probably considered Northwest, and it just kind of stayed that way for a long time. But eventually, of course, that changed. And here's some photos here. Let's see. Not sure who this is. The house. So this must be like their factory. It's funny, in a lot of this advertising, they always showed their factories. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go slowly over the articles, and then you can pause if you'd like to read them or you find something that's interesting. And if you don't want to read them, you just want to kind of see an overview, you could even speed up the video. And this is basically talking about their business. They purchase Golden Seal, Ginseng, and Seneca. These are roots. They buy. Again, talking about their business, how they pay the most, how they sell their furs, etc. Some of this is catalog material, and some of it is educational material, them teaching you the correct ways to do things for what they're looking for. And I'm sure they were very picky. This was a situation where you sent in your hides and furs, and then they sent you back money if they accepted them. And if they did not accept them, then you had to pay the shipping to ship the items back. Should never be be dried. And this is potentially the price they pay for things. Sheep pelts, deer skins. How much they pay for feathers. And all things that in this time were pretty common for people. Because a lot of people were farmers because they had to be. So they had sheep, they hunted for deer meat for their family, so why not prepare the skin and sell that too? Or they had to kill pests to preserve their livestock, so again, use the skins to help provide for your family. And again, this is just more information. Some points on how to handle the hides. How to get the best robes. Lots of instructions on how they wanted things to be for their selling purposes. Use a proper skinning knife. I think they may have also done some of this work for you and sent it back to you if you didn't want to do the tanning and stretching and stuff like that, but I'm just really not sure. I haven't read through all of this. So if you have or you know, you can put it in the comments below. Here's a picture called The Feast After the Convention. It's a bear carrying a tray of meat, it looks like. Raccoons and skunks sitting at the table. We wish all our friends a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a super meal like the wild animals are getting. This illustration shows various ways to make tin or leather tags to attach to hides. When you're writing S, state how you marked your tag. Then, if the paper tag becomes defaced or torn off, you will be able to identify your shipment by the tin or leather tag. Interesting. View of Stone Arch Bridge in Millen District in Minneapolis. So I think this is the convention they were talking about. The wild fur-bearing animals of North America. And you actually can get, they did print postcards with these images on them, so once in a while they pop up on eBay. I've seen this one, I know. And again, this is another depiction of the correct ways to stretch. Right and wrong way of taking off hides. There's lots of wrong ways, but only one right way. Figure 9 shows one in bad shape, even if well furred. Such skins are only worth about 2/3 the price. So here's figure 9. Your things are not quite right. So they were very precise. Sure death capsules. Ugh. Pure crystal strychnine. Skunk oil. In answer to many inquiries regarding skunk oil, will say we have been unable to find any market either through the wholesale or retail druggist for skunk oil to be used for medicinal purposes. What prescriptions a retail druggist get to be filled, they must use Vaseline or other substitute for skunk oil. We believe that any fur houses who offer to buy it at prices above tallow or grease for soap purposes do so to draw shipments of skunk skins and will buy them enough lower to make up their costs. So, skunk oil to make soap, huh? So even if you did take a bath, it's still gonna stink. Pendulum trigger trap. Trapper's guide. So it looks like they buy furs and stuff from you, but they probably really make their money on selling you the stuff to get those. And here's our last page. So here, this is looks like a watch fob of some sort that you can buy with a fur on it. Good luck watch charm. A rabbit foot, and then the other has this was actually in my grandpa's house, this one. It has a swastika on it, which before the Nazis, of course, made this their symbol. This was a symbol of good luck. And was commonly used by Native American tribes for that purpose, but in the other direction. I'm not sure where the animals would go to Minneapolis. They probably would want to go far away from Minneapolis. You can buy this in several colors to put on your wall. Pretty animal pictures. Wild animals fleeing from forest fires, as seen when Hinckley was burned. Alright, that's the last page. Hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Bye.